My name is Michael Longo. I'm the head of business development for a company called Anax Power. And at Anax, we generate clean energy from natural gas without any combustion. And the way we do that is with a natural gas turbo expander generator. Okay, and what I'm going to be doing in this presentation is three things. First, I'm going to talk about the problem that the turbo expander solves. Second, I'm going to talk about what makes our technology different. And third, I'm going to talk about the value we provide to our customers and how we go to market. All right, so let's start by talking about our problems. And you can see we have a little presentation here on the left. So every day, it should come as no surprise, there's natural gas moving through hundreds of thousands of pipelines all over the world. And in order to get the gas from point A to point B, it needs to go through these compressor stations. And at these compressor stations, energy is added to the gas to pressurize it so that it can move from point A to point B in an efficient way. Now, this is great for the transmission of gas, but it's not good for the actual use of gas. And the reason for that is because it's at too high of a pressure to be used by most end users, in our homes, our businesses, wherever. And so in order to get it to that right level, it needs to go through these pressure regulating valves, where the gas is stepped down in pressure. And again, it's been a part of our system for years. The problem here is these pressure regulating valves are tremendously inefficient. They waste a ton of energy in the pressure letdown process. And our solution to that is to install the Anax Turbo Expander. The Anax Turbo Expander works in tandem with the pressure regulating valves in order to generate clean power from the pressure cut as well as the mass flow of the gas through the machine. Okay? Now, when we talk to people about this idea, the first question we inevitably get is, well, this sounds great, but why hasn't it been tried before? Right? And there's a couple advantages that Anax has had that's allowed us to be successful in this space. First and foremost is that there are high barriers to entry. Anax was fortunate enough to partner with PG&E on the development of this technology due to the fact that one of their former executives is on our board, and we had access to data that most other companies, frankly, couldn't get their hands on. Next, other turbo expander companies suffer from unreliable performance due to the fact that the gas moving through these pipelines fluctuates on a minute-by-minute basis. So that's hard for the other turbo expanders to handle. Our patented technology overcomes this barrier and was verified in 2017 by the Gas Technology Institute as being successful in handling these pressure changes in the wild. Third, other turbo expanders aren't scalable, right? So we are a modularized plug-and-play unit, and we have no high one-time engineering expenses associated with designing a custom system. Right, so we have our package and it plugs right into the existing T connection on pressure regulating stations. And one machine generates 400 kW. You can scale this up to several megawatts by installing 5, 10, even 15 machines if you have the mass flow required as well as the real estate required to do so. I talked a little bit about this, but we're not as expensive as some other turbo expanders. The reason for that being we avoid those highly cost prohibitive one-time engineering expenses because we're a modularized unit. And then finally, this is probably our most significant challenge over the next 12 to 18 months, which is to drive customer adoption. Right? This is not an industry that really latches on technology that comes into the space. So I'll talk a little bit on the next slide how we feel we're well positioned to overcome that with our customers. Speaking of our customers here, there's three segments I just want to quickly touch on. First, you have the 568 non-peaking natural gas generating sites spread out across the country. You have over 2,000 city gate stations where the gas is coming off those interstate transmission lines, being dropped in pressure to a local distribution pressure. And we can generate a lot of power from those sites. And then third, there's over 1,000 large industrials in the US alone. So your steel manufacturers, fertilizer plants, oil refineries that use a ton of natural gas and can use this power to offset their parasitic load. Now, this is just in the US alone, and it amounts to a $3.3 billion market, over 4,000 megawatts of power each year. Not to mention the inbound sales interest that we're seeing from countries like Brazil, Mexico, Korea, and several more. Now, The final 2 points here is, well, why are they going to buy from us, right? How do our customers benefit? And well, they're getting reliable, distributed, clean power generation that oftentimes makes their sites eligible for generous state, local, and federal renewability incentives. The final point here is that we have a market-leading ROI that aligns with utility expectations around their capital investments in generating assets. Finally here, how do we reach them, right? So that challenge I talked a little bit about earlier. Well, our CEO has spent 35 years in this space and has built out a network of plant service and maintenance partners. He's done it already in the wind industry, and we feel like that experience will serve us well as we seek to do it in this new market that we're going into. We've spoken with energy consulting partners, everyone from waste heat consultants all the way to energy procurement specialists, and we believe that we can help them add value to their clients and become a part of their offerings. And finally, the most exciting thing to me about this market is that if we get in and demonstrate success in one site, we have the opportunity to scale very quickly, right? So take your non-peaking natural gas power plants. Very few entities only have one of these sites where this technology is feasible. They generally own a portfolio across the country or across the world, and we demonstrate success in one site, we can scale very quickly. Right, so that's all I have, and I think there's 5 minutes for questions now.